Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back in action from my trip, and we've got a new patch that came out. Some of you guys might have played a little bit with these changes. Couple of pieces of new digital content, which fortunately they did give to everyone in it. Plus, we got some more information on Season Pass DLC that's going to be coming. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stone Mountain, and I got most of this information from you guys tweeting it at me. Once I got back, I actually looked at the post from Sledgehammer, the community manager for Star Wars Battlefront. I was on my honeymoon, though, and that was why you guys were all sending me this information. I haven't been able to talk about it until today. So let's get into it a little bit. Maybe you guys have even played some of these changes since the January patch did drop, and I have a lot to say on that. We'll talk about some of the highlights from it briefly. But before that, everybody, including myself, has been waiting. What is going to be included in the premium or in the season pass that quite a few people had already purchased? We got our first drop of information for the first three so far. March is going to be the first drop. It's going to be called the Outer Rim, and that's going to include a map on Tatooine in Jabba the Hutt's palace. It also mentions fighting amongst factories on Sullust, so we can probably expect at least those two maps. In the general description, it also mentions new modes, heroes, weapons, and more. We don't necessarily know if that means all of that's going to be included in each of the DLCs, or maybe all of those are spread out, but if we're talking Jabba the Hutt, I'm not sure if he would be a character that's playable. Like, he seems like he would be too slow, so I don't know about that, but when you look at the second one they mentioned, it's called Bespin. That's coming in summer 2016, and this is where Cloud City is. This, of course, is where we meet Lando in the movies, and he is a character I could definitely see being another hero. I don't know, just speculation, but at that point, I got to imagine he's going to be included in that. And if one gets included for the hero side, there's got to be one included for the villain side as well. Of course, we're only talking about the original 3 episodes of Star Wars, so I don't know who else it could be. And we've talked about that on some streams before, but the third DLC is called Death Star, coming in fall, which I feel like is extremely far away, especially when we're just talking about the Death Star, which is so iconic and epic, but that map will be coming. And if you know about the season pass, there is 4 pieces of DLC to be expected. That fourth one, though, they note, doesn't have a title yet, and we don't get any details on it yet, but it will be coming in early 2017. Oh my gosh, a year away, boys. Jeez. The good thing is, more free content is also coming, and that's going to be spread in throughout, I guess. In February, we're going to be getting a new survival map on Hoth, a new multiplayer map on Hoth that's even going to support the larger modes, Walker Assault Supremacy, Fighter Squadron, Turning Point, which I was super frustrated was only available on the new map Battle of Jakku. Well, that's also going to be coming to all other maps that support Walker Assault and Supremacy in the February update. There's also going to be more content coming for free in March, adding new multiplayer map on Endor that's going to support, again, the big modes, Walker Assault Supremacy, Turning Point, and additionally, a new Tatooine survival map, which I don't play the survival too much, but it's good to see some support for that offline mode as well. And that's what we can expect in the next few months, as well as out into the future, but what about right now? As I talked about at the beginning, there was a January patch. What was some of those changes? If you haven't seen this yet, guys, since it is a little hidden, private matches are now in the game. When you go to the multiplayer, check the box in the top right, and you can choose your own private match, play with just your friends. The issue with this, though, is they still don't have custom games. It's not your own custom rule set, it's just the standard mode with your friends. So if you don't necessarily have that many people you're all trying to get in one match, this probably doesn't affect you. I do live streaming, in which this is going to be epic for. We can get a full lobby of subs together. It's going to be awesome. I'd just like to see some more customization, some custom rules we could put in. That's what I always talk about, because that's some of my fondest memories in gaming is Halo 2 custom games, is custom games in COD, being able to make up your own game modes, your own rules. Battlefield having custom server rules, time, score, but a step in the right direction nonetheless. There was quite a few other changes here as well, though. First up on Hoth, Luke and Han both got new outfits, so they're a little bit more bundled up in the cold. They also added in-game daily challenges. Right when you log in, it pops up saying, here's the daily challenge, so you can get some more credits. I like it. They also added a new multiplayer map, the Tatooine Survival Mode, which I didn't even think about having them add, or even think about that it was a different map that wasn't in multiplayer, but that was added. They also made a massive amount of changes to the weapons and star cards, and these are all things they've already done so far. So if you guys have tried any of this, especially any of these changes, this is I think, the more controversial stuff. And I saw Sledgehammer made another post saying, we're getting your guys' feedback. We know some people aren't happy with some of the changes. Like I said, I haven't spent too much time with it. Let me know what your guys' grievances are, if you have any. My biggest couple that I've seen so far is all of the best stuff was completely nerfed, and some of it was actually pretty fun. Maybe it was too overpowered, but my favorite things was the EE3, that 3-round burst long-range rifle, and the SE14C, the 5-round burst little pistol. Both of those, with the explosive shot combo, have been decreased by half or over half of their damage, which is really disappointing because the explosive shot on those things was insanely fun to use. The explosive damage was extremely powerful, but I could see how people are getting pissed off about that. The good move, guys, is the homing shot was nerfed. It decreases the lock-on distance. The better note was that they decreased the speed of the travel of that thing from 30 to 23, so good percentage reduction there, but the lock-on time went from 0.4 to 1.5 seconds, so over tripled the amount of time to lock on with that thing, which is really good. The cycler rifle actually got a buff. While you're within 10 meters, you can finally get a one-shot kill. That thing, I feel like, has been underpowered for so long, especially when you compare it to the pulse cannon sniper rifle, that thing being able to one-shot from extremely long range. They also made the cycler rifle decrease its bullet drop-off, so you should be able to do more damage from long range as well. The DL-44 was also a super powerful blaster, and they almost cut in half the rate of fire of that thing. If you get you can get a one-shot headshot from close range on that. Extremely powerful gun. They also changed the bounty hunter trait card. All this stuff is stuff that keeps showing up on all my top plays show too. But they decreased that, so now no longer gives you a 100% chance. It's only an 85% chance of getting power-ups, in the instant cooldown is what the bounty hunter trait does. They also majorly nerfed the bowcaster, which people were sending me so many clips of the bowcaster comboed with like a jetpack and the bounty hunter trait, getting complete instant cooldown, jetpacks flying all over the place, blasting bowcaster. Well, it's not going to happen quite as much anymore. The bowcaster, fully charged, damage decreased from 50 damage to 15. Otherwise, the 1 or 3 shots, if you don't charge it all the way up to 5-shot, bowcaster damage decreased from 50 to 10. A fifth of the damage of what you were doing before with that thing. I know a lot of people were saying that was a super noob weapon, so maybe it was a good change. A really good move for vehicle changes decreased the Millennium Falcon and Slave One's health by 30%. I think it could have even been cut in half. A bug fix I don't see in this list, though, that has been extremely controversial in some of my top play videos for Battlefront is the Millennium Falcon jet ramming into the Slave One. If you pull that shield on, you can just run straight into the Slave One and instantly destroy it. I don't see any notes on it directly here, and I haven't tried it again, but I know that's something I thought it was a pretty neat trick, but a lot of people are saying it shouldn't be a part of the game. Still no changes on that from what I see. There's also quite a few game mode changes, including spawn zones, which is always good when you're making spawns better. Fixed some minor bugs, which we won't go into. Changed some match bonuses, decreasing quite a few, actually. And then also changing the minimum player count threshold, amongst other things that they've done to actually improve the matchmaking systems. They made it so you can change it by region that you want to play in. And then one of the other things to just help the games get started. This was a bigger issue on PC. A lot of complaints from myself, as well as I've seen other people talking about this. But they decreased the amount of people you even need to have to start a game, so people stop leaving the lobbies while you're queuing up. A little bit more about the heroes now. Hon didn't just change his clothes, though. His blaster got a little nerf as well. The farther away the enemies are, the less damage you're going to do now to prevent that long-range sniping. And Boba Fett, the worst offender of this, got a slightly even bigger nerf after already previously being nerfed. Now, his damage also from range does slightly less damage, past 80 meters out. And his wrist launcher goes from explosion radius of 4 to 2.5, so almost cut in half, but the maximum damage radius was slightly increased there. So if you're on target, you get a little bit more forgiveness there, but it won't be as big of an explosion. And then, of course, his missiles don't lock on. I think that was something from a previous patch. The only other bug fix that I thought was really nice was they fixed an issue where meleeing at nothing completely stopped your movement. This is something where, if you've noticed, if you're trying to beat somebody down, your guy always stops and then hits. And it's like, you can't just keep running and hitting, and it made it really inconvenient, because if you missed the punch, you couldn't just keep running to get closer to him to punch another time. I thought that was a nice improvement. So lots of new information. It's good to be back, though. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Check out some recommended top funny moments in Battlefront, and I'll see you soon. This is StoneMouse64, over and out.